Thank you so much, Mike. Hola, bon dia from Barcelona. And let's take it away. For those of you who have seen presentations before about decor, maybe some that I've presented, we tend to drum bang the drum quite a lot about what decor represents for you as a business opportunity, etc. Actually, over this last year, this has been even more the case. In fact, decor was one of those segments that actually didn't suffer as much as many other segments have during the pandemic. Um, I'll walk you through a few reasons why. Some of them are quite obvious to you, but let's walk through them, and let's look at a little bit more in detail what decor can mean for you. My name's Terry Ragunath. In fact, I live and breathe decor. It's my full time job at HP, and basically what I try to do beyond decor even is looking for new square meters to print on. Basically, business development in the sense of finding new materials, new spaces, new surfaces that we can cover and customize with print. Um, so without further ado, one reflection that I saw recently reading the press, apparently it's for most of us this will be the case, less the case or more the case depending on the climatic conditions you're living in, but we spend a good deal of our lives indoors, a lot, 80%, up to 80% even. So, and this of course has been exacerbated by the last year, of course, where we were confined to our living spaces very often. But the reality is this is not gonna change even when we get out of this, because it's a case of when, it's not if. When we get out of this pandemic situation, of course most of us are going to be trying to spend as much time outdoors as we can, but this 80% won't really vary that much. In fact, a friend of mine recently coined this phrase, which is your home is your oasis of wellness. In fact, the word wellness has grown to become something much more understood, much more adopted by all of us, because really our homes have become the last bastion of uh, um, security, where you really feel safe, where you really truly 100% feel that you're okay. And by the way, that cocoon that we're in has taken on a different role over the last year. I'll show you a few examples of how that happens in a second. Just a few pieces of information here. I'm not going to dwell too much on the numbers, but decor has grown, like I said before. If you look at the decor market, generally speaking, we're looking at and this is beyond print, by the way. This is everything related to decor. It's a $697 billion market, which is massive, and it's growing healthily. In fact, the online part of that, so the home decor market, will triple between 2020 and 2027. This growth is actually expected to continue, and a lot of this is driven by customization. That's clear. We want more and more to buy materials, to buy products that are more our products, that are more tailored to us, that are more where we can put our personal stamp on, right? Um, if you look at the driving forces or the reasons why this growth has taken place, certainly in the last year, e-commerce has grown by 30%. That's far beyond and far above what it normally grows at. Um, I saw a piece of data recently that 20% of Americans, that's one fifth of Americans, have done some form of redecoration project in their home. That's probably going to be quite similar in other countries. The crafting industry, certainly in the US, certainly in the UK, has skyrocketed. So there's a lot more people making custom-made face masks, custom-made jewelry, custom-made um, whatever products. I've heard that home baking, for example, in Singapore is a thing. So I've got a friend in South Africa who has a home baking business now. So a lot of this stuff is driving growth in the creativity industry, right? Which is good for print. And lastly, is the gifting industry, which is expected to, and it has already grown 4x in the last few years, and it's expected to grow as well. Certainly in the pandemic, where you can't see your family members as regularly, etc., you're going to send them gifts for their holidays, for their birthdays and holidays, etc. So, okay, Terry, that's great. So the last year, everything's grown and everything was great for decor. So now we're getting out of the pandemic. Is this growth going to die down? The answer is probably not. Probably not, because whereas before we were cocooning, we were closing ourselves up in our homes, locking ourselves down, etc., and redecorating the spaces. I've not done a great job in this space, by the way. Um, uh, interior decor has grown because of that. The next phase we're going to go into is the reconnection phase. So now, as I'm sure most of you are thinking now, once we get inoculated, once the vaccine programs start rolling out, once our companies start opening offices again, retailers are going to open again, restaurants are opening again, everything's reopening, and we're dying. We're all dying to get back and connect with our friends, have that beer with that friend of yours, have coffee, go for dinner, visit mom, those kind of things, right? So the reconnection phase is going to be another explosion for decor. Let's look at some applications in how I think that will take place. Um, in the first case, I'm mentioning a few applications which are not only opportunities for HP print, they're opportunities for all of our all print brands, of course. Um, the first one would be wall coverings. Now, wall coverings have been around for a while. They've been around for hundreds of years, actually. The digitally printed ones are a little bit more recent. The nice thing about wall coverings is, as we are getting into this reconnecting phase, as I mentioned before, people are going to go from neutral colors, because in our home, since we're stuck in our home every day in the pandemic, now we're moving into a reconnecting phase where these neutral colors that mean rest, tranquility, neutrality, we want to start building something a little bit more bold, a little bit more fun, a little bit more forward, a little bit more outgoing. So these colors are likely to change, and the wall coverings are likely to change as well, showing us colors that are a little bit more lively. Here's an example from Maystyle. It's a studio in London who are actually taking this another step, and they're saying wall coverings with LED lights built into it. Very, very elegant stuff. There's another way of going at it, which is to say the print is one part. The material on which we're printing is important, but we're going to actually embellish with lights, with crystals, with other kind of things. So it's kind of going back to the traditional wallpaper craftsmanship of embellishing wallpaper. Another one is window blinds. This one has been developed recently. Actually, it just came up maybe 5 6 years ago. Why is this so interesting? At least for us at HP, latex inks work very well on the materials that window blinds are made of, which is typically polyester. So they can be polyester, they can be polyester mixes. Of course, you also have natural fibers, etc. In this case, I'm mainly talking about the polyester ones, the typical basic window blinds. Window blinds until now have been beige, green, yellow. They didn't really vary from those colors, white. And now window blinds manufacturers are starting to see that they can do something more. They can differentiate uh, dramatically the product that they're putting out on the market, which looks very similar to their competitors' product. So as you can see there, this is an example from is the Ashley Wild collection from Illuminate Blinds, Illuminate from Dubai. Um, Funny enough, window blinds, by the way, for those of you connecting from the UK, from the Netherlands, the biggest brands in wall covering actually are from countries where there's not a lot of sun, like the Netherlands, where I'm from, and the UK. But of course, places like the Middle East as well. Of course, so they have a lot of light to deal with. So window blinds is a big product. Um, the next one I'm going to call wall decor, generally speaking. This is nothing new, but an interesting trend that I'm seeing taking place here is that people making the canvas products. Let me just show you one example I've got here. I just happen to have one here. This is a sample. The typical canvas products that you can buy online typically are changing as well. I mean, customers are now becoming a little bit more discerning. They want to uh, try to make something different, try to make this canvas product, which is a piece of wood with a canvas print wrapped around it. They want to make something a little bit more elegant, a little bit more minimalistic. So why not look at ACP? Aluminium, brushed aluminiums, um, maybe even glass or acrylics, for example. Using those kind of materials, you're making the print a lot flatter. The light's reflecting from it in a very different way. And what you're starting to see now is that a lot of people are actually buying bigger prints, but more minimalistic in terms of what it's printed on. So these kind of materials are going to start to grow as well. Um, and by the way, they're probably going to be more profitable as well for you. Then there's other ones like wood. These things are starting to come up again, certainly within the interior decoration trends in the last number of years, where the maker trends, the hipster trends, and these kind of things were influencing interior decor quite a lot. You're starting to see wood furniture, wood decors, wood paneling, and also even separation panels made out of wood. During the pandemic, you might have seen some of those in restaurants. Why not decorate a separation panel? Separation panels typically were very ugly pieces of plexiglass and things like that. Why not use a piece of wood where you can actually print on? In the case of our print technology in HP, and I'm probably speaking for others as well on the market, as the print layer is so thin with latex and the latex inks are so flexible, you can print on top of wood without losing the effect of the wood grain, which makes it an interesting medium to print on as well. Following this, I've got another application which is again not new, but you're starting to see it more and more popping up now more and more in decor, which is thermoforming. This is basically printing on a variety of different plastics, from ABS plastics to polystyrenes, etc., and then stretching them into a 3D uh, form. This is a video I made with my mobile phone at a thermoformer, actually, just to show you how this can transform a piece of plastic. Let me have a look at this works. Yes, it works. So this is blow forming. This is heating up the printed piece of plastic to a certain degree, 90 degrees, 100 degrees, depending on the type of plastic. And in this case, we're actually blowing air underneath the piece and stretching it out. And we're stretching it to a point of maybe 15, 20 centimeters, as you can see here. In this case, the latex inks are flexible, so much so that the color doesn't actually suffer as the surface is being stretched out. We call this in thermoform, we call this a draw. So this is a very deep draw. And this is actually what do you call these things? It's those windows that let in some light on the roof. I forgot the name of it in English now, but these are made for camper vans typically. This one is a little bit oversized. We're making this for an event. Actually, this was made for an event recently, just before the pandemic. Actually, just to show you that you can do different things. I'm starting to see wall paneling made out of thermoforming, wall decorations in general made out of thermoforming, wash basins and bathroom fittings where they're putting marble effects, stone effects, wood effects on these materials and actually forming the 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 bathroom fittings with this. So there's a lot of decoration happening now with thermoforming as well, not just signage. Maybe something to take into account. If you want to know more about this, please let me know, and we can take you through the details. Um, Upholstery. Now, as I said before, we were during the pandemic looking at neutrality and neutral colors. We're going back to bold colors now. This is an example that I got. Actually, I took it from the internet from a Spanish company called Belani, which is an upholstery product, a sofa manufacturer actually. They're using textile, but you could use textile, printed textile. You could use synthetic leathers, for example. You could even use real leathers if you'd like. All of these are printable. Um, Upcycling is a big thing. If you look at some of the studios doing this kind of thing, one recently I saw, for those of you in the UK, there's a small studio actually not so small anymore, in Scotland called Timorous Beasties. They're doing a lot of upcycling, buying old chairs or antique chairs rather, antique sofas, and putting very, very modern prints on over the top. It looks really, really stunning. Again, this all made possible by print. A few notes. Here's just some examples. I mean, I could go on and on with different applications. I just wanted to make you aware of this, that these applications are growing. You've heard of wallpaper; it's been around for a while, but wallpaper actually moves along with the times and moves along with the trends as well. So it's something that's always there and it's always applicable in interior decor. A few handy tips. I just fished a few out that I thought I'd make use of in these last 4 minutes that I've got. You, as a print company, if you're looking at how to use decor and how to jump on this decor opportunity, just a few notes, at least from my notebook, that you need to take into account. One is forget signage. Forget the signage mentality, which is very cost driven for obvious reasons. I mean, signage at this point is a very competitive market where square meters are being sold at prices, rock bottom prices, sometimes not even sustainable for the well-being of the company printing it. Decor is a different thing. Here we're talking with people buying decor are buying it with their heart. They're not buying it necessarily with their mind. It's a very impulse purchase and it's a very emotional purchase. So the designs that I've shown you just now are designs that you're either going to like or not like. There's not much a middle ground here in these things. So work on that. Play with the design, the emotional part of the design. The next point I would make is choose your target, because very often print companies come to me and come to us saying, okay, where should I focus first? Well, you should look at where you have been focusing until now. If you do a lot of retail, look at retail decor opportunities. If you do a lot of events, look at what's happening in the events world. Smaller events, more frequent events, they're coming back now. Uh, um, Sustainability is a big thing now, certainly in events as well. I heard Coldplay were planning their next tour, and they said they wouldn't start this tour until they had a carbon dioxide footprint zero for the whole event. Just to show you that events are taking a different thing. If your thing is car wrapping, car livery, that kind of thing, there's a lot of decoration happening there as well, of course. Um, Start simple. I've made a little chart here where you put the cost of the actual application on the y-axis and the complexity on the x-axis. Complexity meaning if it requires installation, if it requires stitching, if it requires upholstery, confection, those kind of things. You're typically going to earn more money with these kind of applications, but they're more complicated, and very often it requires expertise that you may not have at this point. You need to outsource it. Other ones like canvas or posters and those kind of things are more plug and play type of applications. So play within those confines. Um, Sustainability, as we said before, this pandemic has accelerated our interest and our focus on sustainability. Everything is now uh, sustainability driven. So think of this when you think about the types of inks you're using, what kind of materials you're printing on, which surfaces you're actually printing on, whether it be sleeping areas or eat areas where you get together to eat together, etc. Sustainability, VOCs, smells. It's an important aspect to take into account. And lastly, and most importantly, if you don't put passion into this business, it's not going to work. Decor is all about the design driving the whole thing. It's the passion. People want the design, and that's what drives the whole thing. So those of you that have been successful with this, I would say that you probably had the first element that helped you in the success, which is passion. If you have any further questions about this or any of the topics that I mentioned, please feel free to ask the guys at FESPA and ask me as well. My email is very easy, terry@hp.com. Send me an email, look me up on LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to start up a conversation with you. Thanks very much for your attention, and hopefully see you soon in person. Thanks, Mike.
Amazing presentation, Terry. Fantastic. Really, really well done. Thank you very much. We've
Thank
also
you.
had Sasha has spoken about some roof dome skylights. Jaco has talked about stained glass, etc. So I'm looking
That's it.
forward to seeing lots of those
Skylights. That's what
opportunities as well. Skylights. There we go. And
the word I
also,
was looking
Terry,
for.
I'm really excited about the FESPA Awards next year because, of course, we have got that new category which is specifically for interior decor. So, looking at your presentation there's been an incredible year of creativity in the interior decor sector. So, I think that will be a very competitive FESPA Award in 2022.
Hopefully, I trust it will. No doubt about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Terry. Big hug to all the team of HP in Barcelona, and we'll see you all very soon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Likewise. Take care. Have a good event. See you.